Welcome, everybody, to episode 305 of the China Show, the real China Show. 305 is the area code for Miami. So
shout out Miami. Do you like Miami?
I've never been there. I liked Miami Vice when I was a kid.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a lot to cover as far as the whole Iran conflict is concerned. And, of course, there's a lot more to do with China that we're going to be covering today. This is a full China show, so we're not just focusing on one topic today.
No, I will say, though, it is more than we had expected to happen since Tuesday. We did have a breaking update about the whole Iran-China situation on Tuesday. If you think you're going to get a repeat of that, that's definitely not true because so much has happened in what is that, 4 days?
It's all new information.
It's insane.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. Yeah. Should we get right into it and show people what they can expect in today's show?
Yes.
All right, let's head on over to the sizzle reel, shall we?
Coming up
in today's China Show.
老美的空军司令当场直接被干死，咱家说的都是真新闻，这不是开玩笑，这个事儿千真万确。2家。搬了我了，搬了地方这么大声了我。
Earlier today we saw an unmanned surface vehicle, basically a drone.
And of course, much more. Yes, much more. We do have a lot to cover. So let us head right into it.
Why are we little down there?
I just thought, why not? Let's saunter right into it, shall we, with what's new.
Sure.
And this is where we talk about what's new with regards to China and also kind of set a little bit of a lighthearted tone for the beginning of the show.
Are you insinuating that it's going to get dark?
Oh, it's possible.
Yes, it is. It's going to get dark as hell.
So what's happening over here? It looks like a lot of people doing the same move.
You remember we showed you guys the whole mouth train phenomenon? People are going to the city called Chongqing. It's the one you'd probably seen on TikTok where it's
22nd floor.
Yeah, and it looks like a 8D futuristic cyberpunk city.
Stupid train goes through a building, the badly planned train.
It's a terrible thing. And then people go,
yeah,
and then the train goes in. They take videos of the train looking like it's going around. The new thing, I don't know where they learned this, but there are thousands of people. Every time a plane goes by, they point at the plane. They think it's like the coolest shot ever.
Okay, let's see. All right. Comes a plane.
My problem with that is maybe the first time it was cool. Maybe the second time it was cool. There are tens of thousands of these videos on Douyin right now. It's not cool if you're like the 10,000th person.
Well, it's a conformist society.
True.
You saw that with everything. Everyone has to drive the same car. When you get a little bit of money, it has to be a black Audi.
That's
At least that was the case for a while. Everyone has to do the same thing. So makes sense.
Yeah.
What's happening here? It looks like Chengguan again. Is it?
No.
Oh.
Nope. This is some volunteer work. Pause it real quick. Those are those nice policemen helping out load a little
tricycle stall thing. And it's like, because it's raining and obviously it's not nice, right? Yeah, for once you see them actually putting it on the cart rather than taking it off.
True.
Okay, so what's the deal?
Let's find out.
Okay.
Did you see?
I did see. Did you guys see? You had the water over there. Let's see.
Mike's low, everyone says.
Everyone says Mike's low?
Yeah, very low.
That's very interesting. Okay, give us a second. We'll fix that. Sorry about that. I'll increase our decibelage over here. This is very interesting that this would happen.
Is it?
Yeah. Excuse the low mic stuff, guys. I will fix it right now. It is very low. I can see it right now.
Yeah, me too.
So I think the best thing to do here is to somehow increase it.
That's decreasing it.
Yes.
I'll keep you guys. Turn up the sound, please, says everyone.
All right. Give me a second.
Classic. Very low.
Absolute classic, isn't it?
Why could this have happened?
Well, because
we're getting sabotaged.
That's one possibility. Please bear with me while I figure this out, guys.
Timu Audio. The mics are making me irritate. Clips are too loud. Mic is much too low.
Yes, I understand.
Sound low.
Going to advanced audio properties. Okay, and I'm going to increase the decibelage a fair amount. Let's see.
Okay, tell us when it gets better. Tell us when this 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 gets better.
Okay.
I'm just doing
Yeah,
it live,
okay.
you know?
Testing.
Testing.
How about now?
Testing.
Is that better, guys?
Testing.
Is that better?
Testing. Okay, now it's fine.
Okay.
I can hear you fine.
Yes, I apologize for that. Let's move on. Okay. So, yes, like we were saying, usually you see this in the other way. Like the cops are, the urban management, as they're called, are stealing the vegetables or whatever, or smashing them. Here they're loading it up to show that they're very helpful, but it's just propaganda. And of course, they have a water truck there spraying the water to pretend like it's raining, so it's like hardship or whatever.
We have shown this so many times, and they keep doing it.
I know, it's crazy.
Bro, it doesn't make it better.
Nope.
You don't, and by the way, you don't have to show this stuff. Just be good. Get good.
Yeah, just do it naturally.
Do it.
Yeah.
And one might say.
Oh, one might say, I hope I can find that.
You never find this.
I never find that.
Dude.
Where is it? It's supposed to be around here.
You're going to have to pay us with 2 sound bites.
Do it. I found it. Just do
nice.
it. Yeah.
Give us another one.
Okay, I'll give us a puke. Okay,
good.
All right, let's continue on. We've got a lot to cover here today.
We do.
Thank you for letting us know about our audio.
Yeah.
What is happening here? This is kind of your forte. It is.
Don't you dare.
When I met you, you were a white rapper. That was your thing.
It was a hobbyist thing.
Well, I mean, I saw you rap battle people in real life.
Did I instigate those?
No, you didn't, but you took part.
Did I not also think that was very bad? And
at the time, I don't think so.
The rap battle, certainly.
Okay.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm just saying, that's why you know more about this.
Yeah, you're right. Shall we look at Chinese rap battle?
Sure.
In English. In English.
Yeah. What's a loader ship?
I'd like to think it has something to do with Iran's oil.
Maybe it's leadership. Maybe it's leadership.
Maybe leadership.
I'm curious about the little guy. He looks 90 years old.
I was going to crop him out because I knew you wouldn't be able to keep your mouth shut about that.
It's bizarre.
I just knew you couldn't.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's continue.
Let's see loadership.
Yeah.
Can we commentate? What's the guy doing on the left? That chain is much too large.
Yeah, I know. He's old. He's bald. He's got the chains. He's moving very slowly.
Is he saying load of shit? Because that's what it sounds like.
Maybe, yes. Maybe he's commenting on the guy. He's like...
No! He's coming at his own performance.
Oh, yeah.
It's his own performance.
Sure.
Do we have another Chinese freestyle in English on the soundboard? Do we not?
We do. I'm going to find here.
Nobody me, okay?
Absolutely.
He said, CCP, which is the Chinese government, don't F me, okay. At least that's what we think he says.
Yeah, it's possible.
Let's continue it. Loadership.
Yeah.
So maybe pause it there. Yeah. What you're seeing is the president of Taiwan.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lai. And he, I just want to point out the mainlanders in China don't like him very much because Taiwan kind of fancies itself its own country.
Not fancies, it is its own country.
Yeah, but according to them.
Right.
According to Chinese people in mainland China, it fancies itself as its own country when, in fact, to them, it's just some sort of breakaway territory that needs to be returned to the motherland. So some netizens, Chinese netizens, have been uploading videos of themselves hitting their TV,
destroying their TVs when he
comes on.
It's the stupidest, and I find this in Chinese society, a lot of this self-sabotage. Do you remember when Japan was the enemy, people were like smashing their own Toyotas or their neighbors' Toyotas?
Yes, I do remember that.
And when America was doing that freedom of movement exercise in the South China Sea, people were destroying their iPhones.
And when they did America gave THAAD missiles to Korea.
Destroyed Korean shops and alcohol. And then as soon as that thing's finished, they all had to buy new iPhones. This guy's going to have to buy new TVs now.
I know.
It's so stupid.
I mean, he's helping out the Chinese economy, though, because they're definitely Chinese TVs. Cheapos, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's so stupid.
Bro is actually making nunchucks cool.
Yes. This is not funny. This is a clip showing an elderly guy who's struggling to get onto an escalator. Okay, as you can see. No. But I mean, here's the thing. He's trying to get onto the escalator, and nobody's willing to help. And that's a big problem in China. Nobody wants to touch the guy. They'll just stand and wait, you know? And in fact, they even ask him to move out of the way so they can get past. I mean, that's China for you. See, it's like, can you just move out the way? Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's horrible. I think most of us would at least try to help the old fella.
That's a loader ship.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
a loader ship, dude.
Beware of Chinese tofu drake wherever you go. As you can see here, this entire barrier around this entire lake fell over because of the wind.
Oh, man!
I mean, like the entire...
Oh, dude, why did you not use this opportunity to show the dude that like was pushing or just walking on the railing?
I thought I'd use this instead.
Must be nice to live in a real country.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, okay. Whoa, that's
Are we playing
weird.
a game?
We are.
Okay.
I'd like to ask people, do you think...
This will need the chat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to make this a bit bigger. Even this is out of whack. You know, something's going on with our system today. There we go. That's about right. Is this Iran or is this China?
It's a good question because there's a lot of explosions happening in Iran right now, right?
Let's take a look.
Let's
Iran
start.
or China?
Everyone have a guess here. These are all recent.
我这个盒了又，牛皮牛皮
Wow,
儿
that's too
的，
loud.
往南边这边炸了，我操！
What do you guys think?
Most
这没
people
事
say
就行，我
China.
操！
I mean,
loud.
it's pretty obvious.
So that was all one, the same thing?
That was.
That was okay.
Yeah.
So that was, yes, correct. That was China, guys.
Yes. Okay.
All right, next.
How about this? Iran or China?
Oh, this is a separate occasion?
Yeah. What do you think? Is this Iran or China?
Iran or China, guys, for this one.
Obviously, you are facetious.
You are correct.
It's China. It's pretty obvious.
This one's obvious China.
You
But
can see
some of them will be
Yeah.
tricky.
Wow.
Does Iran have those like really bad like electric cables that are just in a rat's nest?
Probably.
Yeah, you're probably right.
In
I
some
noticed
places.
that a lot of Iran streets I'm seeing from the footage looks very suspiciously similar to China.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
China here, yeah, China. Comments are on fire.
Yes, literally. What do you guys think, Iran or China?
Okay, so this is a different occasion.
Completely different, yeah.
Okay, wait for them to populate for a second. Just from the first glance might be the good way to do it.
Yeah,
Just
first
from
glance.
first glance.
Yeah, Iran or China? Okay, I'll continue the clip. What do you think?
Load a ship, load a ship.
You got cars on fire. Ah, damn it! Now you can see all the Chinese characters.
Come on, dude! You could have done a better job with this.
I could have.
Dude, well, China's very much in Iran, as you see later.
Yeah.
You really effed up.
Iran or China? I think it's
Come
pretty
on,
straightforward.
dude.
Okay, pretty obvious.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more. There's more. Okay.
Of course, you got some cheeky people after you've exposed that that's very clearly China saying Iran now.
Okay, yeah.
Again, China's in Iran a lot.
Sure. Guys, what do you think? Iran or China? There, you can't.
here we go.
Now you really can't tell.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of explosions happening in Iran right now because of the war.
Yes, because there are targeted strikes. You know. What do you guys think?
Iran. So we're getting some Irans here. Iran.
You're wrong. That's China.
You're wrong.
Yes. How about this one, Iran or China?
Okay. Obviously, this is probably Iran. This looks very military-esque. So let people guess.
Yeah. Let them
You're
guess.
way ahead of chat here.
I'm
bro.
sorry. Okay,
on,
so this
you're doing-
nighttime shot. What do you think, Iran or China?
Probably Iran because the strategic strikes, right? You strike at night.
No, I'm not going to let anyone know
Oftentimes.
until people have guessed.
Okay, we're getting some. Hold on. Hey, stop!
All right.
You're
okay.
way. You need to take over the computer sometimes so you can see how far
No,
behind. you
I
are.
understand. So what are people saying about this nighttime?
Vast majority is Iran for this one.
It's China.
Oh. Okay, you even got me on that one.
Yeah, that's China.
Load of ship.
Yep.
How is that in my head?
I
That's not even a song.
Yeah, okay. What about this one's got the characters down. Okay, I'm sorry.
Stop!
I'm
You
sorry.
could have cropped this stuff. This could have been a really fun game.
I know.
We could have
okay.
had polls up.
Yeah.
We could have had a side by side.
So,
What have you done?
Yeah, how about this
Okay,
one?
this one's okay.
Iran or China?
See, this is interesting because now the strikes have moved inland in
Yes.
Iran, so it's not so much Tehran anymore.
Yeah.
Tehran's clearly going to be a big city, so this could be one of those small villages that they're hiding bases or something.
Yeah.
Just wait. Okay, we're getting some Irans on this one. Some
Mm-hmm.
Chinas, China, Iran, Minnesota. We got a Minnesota.
Interesting.
A token Minnesota.
That's very interesting. So, do you want to know the answer?
Okay. The gated windows give it away, says someone. I don't see any gated windows there. Where's this one?
China.
Okay, that's China.
Yeah.
We got a couple of Irans there.
Ah, damn it. Firefighters' uniforms.
This is the worst game I've ever played. This sucks.
It does.
This
Okay,
sucks.
how about this one? Iran or China?
Okay.
There's no distinguishing marks.
Do they grow rice in Iran?
I don't see rice there. What are you talking
I see
about?
rice, like a
No,
rice
there's no
crop.
rice. No.
What is that?
It's a different crop. It's like a crop that grows.
No, I mean they might grow basmati or something.
Yeah, but
in
that's
some of
not
the
a
areas.
rice crop, that's for sure.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, rice grows in rice paddies. Look at those. Those are big stalks. Those are like it's like an
Okay.
orchard or something.
Okay, maybe baby trees.
Yes, those are.
They're small date trees.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you
got
guys think?
Iran. Up. Some China's. Oh, Iran.
Yeah.
I like how
can
much this game sucks.
Yes. Can I give the answer?
Sure.
It's China.
It's China. Oh, dang it. Oh, man. This
Yeah.
is all this week, eh?
Yeah, this is all within the past week.
Are you sure America didn't bomb China?
No.
Are you sure?
How about this one? This one's very hard to tell.
This is tricky.
Mm.
I think you did throw some token Irans in here. And what you did was you built up the. I know that is something you do.
That's some
you
some
do
good
that.
thinking.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just wait.
All right.
It just hit the
Okay,
stream.
all right.
So load of shit. No, now you guys don't sing it. Put it back in my head.
Yeah.
Mars, Texas, China, Venezuela. Could be Iran.
Mm.
Bars equals China. Is there bars?
Do you want the answer?
Sure.
It's China.
You son of a gun. You son of a gun.
Yes. Yeah.
You got us real good on this game.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. You never know.
This is a weird game.
It is a weird game.
Are we guessing a war scenario versus just daily life in China? I see what you're getting at here.
This one also has Chinese characters, so I'm sorry. That one's China too. Yeah.
You sure it's not a Chinatown in Iran?
That? No, I'm sure.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's China.
All right.
Um,
Any other ones here? Oh,
yeah, this is the last one.
Okay. So the EV fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think maybe you can understand my point here. I'm being very facetious. Not a single one of these clips is from Iran. They were all from China.
There are some later.
Yes, don't worry. We'll show the real thing. But, the kind of war footage that you're seeing out of Iran right now is just an everyday week in China, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. That is the worst game I've ever played in my life. Because it would have been funny if it was like we kept getting it wrong and stuff, but you just included very clearly China clips pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I'll be honest.
Well,
it was very last minute.
Let us know in the chat or in the comments if you got those right. Let us know how many you got right.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
And by the way, everyone click thumbs up.
Oh, yeah,
or
please
the
do.
like farmer comes out.
Yeah. Better watch out. He's got a new hat.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Beyond the Great Firewall. This is funny. Okay. We wanted to explain something to you guys.
This is where we explain the Chinese internet translates something.
Yeah, exactly. So, before I even get into this, when you go to the supermarket and you want to get something healthy for your kid or whatever, you always look for something that's like 0 additives or 0 preservatives or 100% juice or whatever.
Yeah.
It's usually what you look for on the label because you don't want to give them like formaldehyde to drink or whatever.
Yeah, usually they don't sell that.
You know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
though. You don't want some unknown chemicals.
Yeah.
You look at the back of some of this stuff, and it's just, I can't pronounce half of those things. I know you can. You're better at that. You know all the pharmaceutical
For sure, yeah.
terms.
And of course, when I get into my coffin and I chug my formaldehyde.
Exactly.
I get very preserved.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy has exposed a loophole in China.
Okay.
Okay.
只有
So for
铅
instance,
和零添加酱油，再给你
he's like, you know what this is? This 千和 zero additive soy sauce?
Can I quickly explain this? I heard about this. There is a huge problem where hundreds, if not thousands of brands in China right now, people are finding out that the thing they claim to be is just the brand and not
It's
the thing
just a
they claim to
trademark.
be.
Yeah, it's a copyright, like their brand name.
So this is Qianhe Zero Additive Soy Sauce. So it has additives,
Yes.
but it's called Qianhe Zero Additive. That's just a name.
That's the brand. So the
Yes.
brand is Qianhe Zero Additive.
Yes.
And you can add whatever afterwards. So when you look at it on the label, it says Qianhe Zero Additive Soy Sauce. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so this has got no additives. No, it has a lot of additives.
Yeah, it's like if I name myself Incredibly Handsome. He's like, he's incredibly handsome.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, but that's your name.
反正商标文字游戏
Good
其实
analogy.
还有很多。今天我整理了10几种，看看你到底有没有中招。会员100%果汁，其实
So Huiyuan 100% is the brand.
See, I had heard about this. I'm glad you found the
Yeah.
video. So Huiyuan 100%, not 100% juice.
Yeah, but when on the carton it says Huiyuan 100% fruit juice. So then
That's
you're like, oh, it's 100%
crazy.
fruit juice. No, the brand is Huiyuan 100%.
That's so China.
And they're selling fruit juice, which is like full of additives and it's just 0% fruit.
That sucks.
Yeah.
会员100%是商标，青藏湖盐，你以为
Same thing. Qinghai Tibetan lake salt.
Yeah, so it's the biggest salt lake in China is in Qinghai. It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's large. So they're basically saying this salt comes from Qinghai Lake. It's all pure.
Yes.
But no, it's just called Qinghai Tibetan Lake.
Yeah, that's the brand.
Just
salt.
salt.
Yeah, you add salt. It could be Qinghai Tibetan lake shoes.
That is
You know what I mean?
devious,
It's
dude.
very devious, but they really
是
get you.
青
You
藏
know?
湖生产的盐，其实青藏湖是商标。一品牛肉干，你以为
Dude, this is my favorite. You know why?
Why?
Because it's called first class beef jerky.
I just want to guess
Yeah.
because he didn't say yet.
Yes.
It's probably not beef.
No, it's not.
It doesn't look like beef.
It's just basically the brand is first class beef. And then,
No!
you know, Rogan. So it's new Rogan, right?
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
think it's beef jerky, but
Okay.
it's actually just first class beef jerky. But the jerky is actually pork.
Oh, is it? Let's see.
Yeah. It is just juro.
是用一品级的牛肉做的牛肉干，其实一品牛是商标，它有可能用的是猪肉干，但它
This is very
Exactly.
funny. So basically, yeah. So it's called first class beef,
Yeah.
but it's pork.
Yes. Just the brand is first
You
class
could
beef.
name it anything.
Yeah.
You could have first class beef clothes.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
first class beef ear spray.
So, you know, if anyone
Whatever that
complains,
is.
they, yeah, exactly.
Ear spray.
Ear spray, dude. But that's the thing is people can complain, but then it's like, no, that's just the brand name. It's like you said it was, you know, beef jerky, but it's actually pork. And they're like, no, that's just the brand.
I wish I didn't tell Chad about loadership, by the way, because it's just loadership.
It's
every time I
loadership.
look down. Loadership can be a new thing that means like it's a load of shit. Like if we don't want to say the
loadership,
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
like it. I like it.
And that's like zero sugar.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's
Like,
like no zero, you know, when you drink like a zero sugar soda or something, it says like Coke Zero or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it actually doesn't. But this is just the brand name. It's full of sugar.
That's so funny. Imagine calling something Zero Sugar Brand.
Yeah, that's what it is.
This is here. We're called Zero Sugar Brand. This is our line of sugar products.
Exactly. It's so devious. I mean, that's China though, the land of shortcuts and
That's
facades.
very,
you know
very
what I mean?
funny though.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought I'd show you that. So that's a phenomenon, and it's like you said, hundreds, thousands of brands do this
That's so
in order to
funny.
deceive the public. And you wonder why they don't trust domestic products.
Yeah, like why they want to import stuff.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. Well, you know, I gotta say though, like you really risking your health every time you eat something off the shelf in China without doing any research, especially if you're a foreigner, you can't read the ingredients.
And you know the life expectancy in the U.S. for a guy is like 80 or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I lived in China for a decade. You were 14 years, right? Mm-hmm. I will probably die at 50, bro.
Yeah, probably.
Because of what we ate.
Yeah,
Only
just-
because of what we ate and drank.
Correct.
We probably drank formaldehyde, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure
Because of
of
the
it.
fake beer scandals.
I am sure.
we were
of it.
down for the count for like 3 days after 2 beers.
Yeah, we once got heavily
got
poisoned
poisoned.
by fake beers. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, speaking of health, if you want to improve your health, we've got a way.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
AG1 has been a sponsor for us for a long time, and we put our name behind it because we love it too.
Yes.
Let's be honest. It's spring, you know, seasons changing, the schedules are changing, right?
Yeah, I'm eating jerky that's not beef and it's actually pork.
It was hoping you'd get to that.
Yeah.
I mean, you find yourself, and I'm not speaking from experience here, you know, maybe my friend did this, but you end up in a gas station, you're eating a hot dog or wings or something.
Pretty sure that's you.
I mean, it's not consistent, let's just say. But one thing that is consistent is that we drink AG1 every single morning.
Yeah.
It's something that has benefited us immensely because let's be completely fair. We're not like your fitness YouTubers, right?
Not the healthiest people in the world, you know?
We could be fatness YouTubers. Who knows?
Exactly. There we go. Yeah.
Either
Fatness
way,
everything.
we are much healthier because of AG1. And I honestly think it has improved my life.
Yeah, it's improved
Especially
my
since
mental cognition for sure.
Yeah, and especially since coming back from China. And that's why we keep it as part of our daily schedule.
Correct.
AG1 is a daily health drink with 75 plus ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, and superfoods, and 5 clinically studied probiotic strains that support gut health and help fill common nutrient gaps. I love the probiotic strains because I don't really eat much yogurt or anything, so that's good stuff. For me, this is the big thing is simplicity. It's super easy, right?
Right.
A couple seconds. Ding, 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 in a cup. Drink it down.
Super
Delicious.
easy, yep.
Comes in different flavors now. If you're traveling in the spring, it's actually super helpful because they have AG1 travel packs now. You don't have to carry the big jug around, which is really nice. You end up keeping your routine going wherever you end up. Supports gut health, steady daily energy through nutritional support and a healthy immune system, which is great when your schedule is chaotic. If you want to try it, we've got a deal. Go to drinkag1.com/ADV to get a AG1 flavor sampler, a bottle of vitamin D3 and K2, free in your welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription. That's a $72 value. Visit drinkag1.com/ADV. Get all that amazing stuff. Support the channel, by the way. It supports us too.
Yep.
Support your own
Big
health.
time. Yeah, it's good. And it's something you don't need to really put a lot of effort into, like exercising. You give up after a while.
Yep.
But with this, you won't.
One scoop in the morning, done.
Done.
Back to the show.
Excellent. So, guys, it's time for Soft Power Hour. Now we're going to talk about the whole Iran-China thing. We've got a lot of different angles to cover here.
Yes.
Are we going to start with that kook?
We could, no.
No, we're not starting with the
It's
kook.
pretty soon after.
Okay.
Pretty soon after.
All right.
I wanted to cut to here because this is probably footage you wouldn't have seen anywhere. These are Chinese people in Iran because, and I want you to pause on a key scene here.
Okay.
Just have a look at this. Absorb this for a second. Like you would your nutrients.
Okay,
AG1.
sure.
Keep going.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Let's pause that. Okay, so these are Chinese people in Iran. Now, what's interesting is that you would never find a whole lot of Americans in Iran. This is not
There are
like
a lot of Chinese there.
it's not like some grand expat country where you're like, I'm gonna go do an English teaching semester, right?
And wear a hijab.
Yes, if you're a woman. Now, in China, it is a strategic ally, a strategic partner at least. So there's tons of Chinese people in Iran, which is kind of crazy to think about. It is an expat country for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And while the invasion was happening, the explosions around them, this sample of video shows some Chinese men just playing some mahjong.
Yeah, just chilling out, playing
I
mahjong.
mean, if it's your favorite, let's say you're gonna die. All right, let's just pretend you're gonna die. Don't you want to do your favorite thing?
Yeah, I suppose. I think this flies in the face of a lot of what the Chinese state media and internet's telling Chinese citizens about what's happening in Iran.
Yeah.
Because, there are targeted strikes. They're not just willy-nilly blowing up
sure.
civilians and whatnot.
China would have you believe the complete opposite.
Exactly.
Boy, oh boy, do we have some evidence of them saying one thing and doing another.
Yeah, yeah. So.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it certainly is.
I mean, their window's blown out there.
Yeah. No, they just didn't install it yet.
Okay, maybe they didn't.
Look, it's
install it.
all under construction.
Oh, that's under construction. You're right.
Yeah, they got like the.
I mean, you can see the explosions in the back, though.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, here's the deal.
Oh, it's this guy.
Must be nice to live in a real country.
I didn't think they'd make an appearance again,
Okay.
but lo and behold, they did because, man, did they love hitting Chinese propaganda talking points.
They do.
They freaking eat it up. So one thing we noticed is we went back, and the reason we're going back here, we're not big fans of this channel.
No.
The reason we went back here is we tried to do
Can
a
you see
quick
I got
check.
bloody Jeffrey Sachs on there again?
Oh, many times.
Jeffrey Ball Sachs.
Many times. So the reason we went back to check is that we are constantly trying to see if they ever post about a bridge falling down in China.
Yes.
They did a huge piece on how amazing China is because they built that tall bridge.
You know that when they released that propaganda bridge, they got some very high-profile propagandists to go there on like a big documentary trip, and they've really pushed it, which makes me very suspect about this channel that they did such a big focus on it.
Yeah, especially when a week or two later, a huge bridge in China collapsed, and it was massive news everywhere.
Sure.
International news. You don't ignore it.
No, but
And
they
so
did.
We always go back to see, like, you did the propaganda piece for China for the bridge.
Yeah.
Did you follow up and do the bridge collapse?
Yes.
Not a chance, right? So we've been going back and seeing, like, do they ever say anything negative
You
about
should change
the
it from
CCP?
breaking points to CCP propaganda talking points.
Talking points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like
CCP talking points.
CCP talking points, and like the CCP is small.
Yes.
It's like talking points,
Yeah.
you know, with whatever. So
Paid for talking points.
it's probably not. This is probably just an incentivized because
Oh, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
popular thing.
Exactly.
If you look at these, they
Maybe
get pretty
not,
good
though.
views, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. Do you see the one with Trump and a Chinese guy in it?
Oh, that one up there?
See that?
Yeah.
Do you see how many views that is?
It's like a couple
Go to
million.
the next slide. You'll see how wildly big this video is, which piqued my interest.
Okay.
So if you look at the next slide here, you're going to see how many views this got.
5.5?
In how many days?
3 days.
Did their other videos get that kind of traction?
No, they got
Not
far fewer views than that. Like,
Not
yeah.
even close. Not even close. Okay.
Okay.
This guy turns out to be called Professor Jiang, and he is a YouTuber, and he runs some. He's from Canada. Was kicked out of China in 2002.
So he's Chinese. He left China for Canada, and then
Yes, and then he got kicked out of China when either visiting or living because under suspected espionage. Okay.
Okay.
Went back to China.
Okay.
Lives in China, and is a teacher.
Okay.
At the same time he's teaching, he runs an English YouTube channel where he predicts things that are going to happen and is massive overnight. Okay. He uses something called game theory.
Right.
And he predicts great world events. And for some reason, overnight was picked up by these, let's say, CCP sympathetic channels
Sure.
or media outlets
Yeah.
as some sort of amazing clairvoyant, someone that can see the future.
Okay.
Right?
Like a
Because-
Nostradamus.
Like a Nostradamus. He's being compared to that, right? So I'm like, this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's got huge traction, big views on this channel that loves bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Let's see what they had to say.
Let's do it.
U.S. will lose Iran war, by the way. That's the prediction.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
guys, we've got
Okay, let me put the volume up so you guys can hear this. Let's take a look. What's this say?
Yet another heavy hitter guest and first-time guest on the show, Professor Zhang. He is the star of the popular YouTube channel Predictive History. He uses
I'm sorry, just gotta.
Must be nice to live in a real country.
He's already in there, bro.
I know.
You don't have to do more.
I know.
game theory to analyze past, current, and to predict future geopolitical events. And he joins us now. Professor, great to have you.
Good to see you, sir.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. So, for people who aren't familiar with your work,
I think that Iran has many more advantages over the United States. France and Britain
Okay.
are talking about entering this war. And guess what? If that happens, it is possible that Russia and China will also enter this war on the side of the Iranians. This is World War III, okay?
Pause that.
Yeah.
What did he just write there? I'm not trying to get down on handwriting, but you didn't even finish the word.
He wrote Rika C.
Anyway, he makes these grand, like long form videos, right? Where he gets very, very excited into what he's talking about
So-
and makes these crazy predictions. Okay.
You get lots of people like this. I've met people like this in my life a few times.
Don't call him loadership yet. All right. We'll get
I'm
into
just
that in a second.
curious as to why people take him seriously.
Well, so that's what's interesting is you have to understand that like a motivation for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To make such a grand statement like the US is going to lose against Iran is pretty wild. But maybe you think it's like take a step back and you say, "Oh, maybe they'll like, give up at some point." No, that's not really the argument that's being posed here. It's that Iran is so powerful and has the backing of Russia and China and all this stuff that there's no way that they could lose. And America is so
Again,
gonna get
but
destroyed.
why is this guy being taken
So
seriously?
he's being taken seriously because he's made these predictions. He said, "Oh, Trump will win."
Okay, so wait, he's made past predictions that are true?
Yes.
Okay,
He said, Trump will invade Iran. Right.
Okay.
You understand? And so these breaking points and all these CCP sympathetic channels, I
Sure.
should say, or outlets are like, wow, this guy's got it all figured out, right? But I just wanted to counter this a little bit. Can we go to the next slide?
Sure.
So I looked into this and we talked about this. Yeah, okay, he was right that the U.S. invaded Iran.
Well, first of all, he was right that Trump won the election.
Yeah, sure.
But that's like a 50-50.
I think it was more than a 50-50.
Okay, I think everybody kind of knew where it was going.
I think everyone knew that.
I think there are a lot of people at home who also predicted that Trump would win the election and were right.
Yes.
Did you predict that Trump would win? If so, call yourself a professor.
And you might get a slot on Breaking Points.
Yes.
They might interview you as clairvoyant. So here's the deal. He predicted this, right?
Yeah.
You know what he got completely wrong?
What did he get wrong?
He predicted that the war was going to start in March 2027.
Okay, so a year off.
Yes. He also said that that an U.S. invasion would need to have Israel, got it, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the UK, and other regional partners, and they would start with a ground campaign.
Oh.
So almost none of that happened.
No.
Okay.
No. It wasn't a ground campaign.
The war was started with U.S. and Israeli strikes only.
Yeah, and airstrikes, yes.
Gulf states like Saudi Arabia and UAE were not invasion partners. Instead, they were the opposite. They were the targets of Iranian strikes.
Yes, that's true.
He predicted a ground invasion as the opening phase of the war. Okay. Precision strikes on Iranian leadership and military facilities were, in fact, the thing that happened. The invasion would happen due to pressure from regional allies, like Saudi Arabia will push Washington into war. I don't think that was correct.
Nope.
Also, he predicted a slow escalation trap leading to occupation forces. His theory is that the mission would gradually force the U.S. into millions of troops occupying Iran. Next, let me get to this point. Iran would require 3 million occupation troops.
Okay.
Has that happened?
Nope.
No.
I mean, you never know.
True.
In the future.
He used ancient war analogies like Athens and Sicily to predict modern conflict. Okay. He also overestimated how the U.S. can, the escalation is a trap to the U.S. cannot escape, right? He went back to like very ancient historical examples as proof as to why this is going to happen, right? And then went into how Russia and China are going to come to Iran's aid in the Strait of Hormuz if this goes down, right?
Okay.
I don't understand how somebody that could make such wild, mispredictions in the beginning of this can be treated as some sort of like clairvoyant, as some sort of like mystic.
You can't treat someone who's quite clearly just a kook as an authority.
You can like his stuff. That's fine, right? But don't like treat him as a military strategy expert on your massive, massive platform. And then it gets millions and millions of views and it's being treated like doctrine.
Well, I guess it's just he's saying the things certain people want to hear.
I think that's the case. So what I wanted to say is this. I don't really care where you or anybody stands on this war. Okay. Yeah. What I care about is certain interest groups like China using some sort of conflict as a way to disrupt the American populace.
Well, I mean, look, if you just want to look back at this, you've got a guy who pretends that he's like a clairvoyant who can see the future. I think we can all agree that that's a bunch of nonsense.
Sure.
Right? He's made very easy to predict predictions that have come semi-true, which everybody can do. I can say, you know what, tomorrow is going to be hot, but it's also possibly cold and maybe mild, but at the same time could be pleasant. Bro. And then one of them come true and everyone's like, he was right.
You can see the future, bro.
You know what I mean? I've come across these people a lot, and you get them a lot in cults and in weird situations, and people who believe in certain, whatever. I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but he's not very convincing to me. Also, he's based in China at the moment, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's not actually a professor?
No, he's just a normal teacher.
Okay, just a teacher. So he's not. He just calls himself
K through 12 teacher.
Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't take him seriously personally.
Again, I don't care. Like, you can go watch his stuff. This is what gets me a little suspicious, and I won't make any claims. I don't think he's like a CCP, like PSYOP. I can't say that, right? Well, what I do think is that he's being used right now.
Yes. If he's making the circuits on these very well-known channels that do CCP propaganda,
like especially anti-American
like Breaking
channels.
Point, that are anti-American channels like that, you know that he's definitely part of the propaganda machine.
at least being used as such and boosted as such. That's the
100%.
way I see it. Because yes, he had a following on his channel, but he's getting wild views on all of these very ABP. You can play an ABP.
Yeah, because he gets boosted by Chinese state media.
I mean, at least that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
What I think, my realistic analysis of this is that even if it's not that, it's a very useful demoralizer in this scenario, right?
And that's
because
why it'll
this is
be
a contentious war. Like people like in America, rightfully so, can question, should we be there, right? That's not part of the conversation. The part of the conversation I'm worried about is Russia and China getting in there and using demoralizing efforts for the wrong reasons.
Correct.
Right. So what I want to do is push back a little bit with some realism, based on what we've seen thus far. If you watched our video on Tuesday, you'll know that we did a pretty deep analysis on what China has to lose.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about as of 6 to 7 days into the invasion.
Yeah.
6, 7.
Yeah. Stop.
What they have lost.
Exactly.
And the implications of this, okay? So why this is really bad for China, there's a reason we wrote new report down there. This is a follow-up.
Okay.
So this is all new information.
Okay, let's go through it.
So between a rock and a hard place, you like this cute little China that doesn't include Taiwan?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
We're blocking its sadness. All right, so here's the deal. It is a big, big problem because China relies on Iranian oil, as everybody knows.
How many barrels of oil do they get from Iran every day? Like 106 million barrels or something? 160
so it's
million?
over 100 million barrels of oil
per day.
Per day. I was blown away because I'm like, maybe that's like per year or something, and that's like a typo.
No.
That's not a typo.
No.
That's per day. That's a lot of oil. And can you explain why China needs so much oil?
Well, because most of its war machine runs on it. Its industrialization runs on it. Of course, you've got all the trucks that have to move all the building material and stuff here and there, all the machinery. They need oil.
Winston, that doesn't make sense because China relies on wind power and it relies on solar. It's renewable.
Where do you think the wind power and the solar power is coming from? How do you think it's being built? It's being built with dirty oil. It's being built with normal industrial processes. And in fact, it's being propped up by that because the stuff that they install is rubbish and it breaks down and it's not actually producing what it's supposed to produce.
Yeah.
You know?
The current risks that this war is bringing China right now is weak domestic consumption, a prolonged property crisis, rising local government debt, and slowing economic growth. All of those things sound unrelated. If you cut off energy, if they have energy
They're
weakness,
going to lose up to 16 million jobs.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And we're dealing with unemployment crisis that China's never seen before.
Yes.
We're talking since like Mao times.
It's bad at the moment, and this is going to exacerbate it.
And this actually has way more implications because if you go to the next one, China and Iran are partners no matter what they tell you. And this is what's going to be very important today for you to walk away with. If you walk away with anything from today's episode, what we're going to show you is what the Chinese internet's doing.
Yeah.
You have to understand that no matter what China tries to do diplomatically to kind of distance itself from this, it's not distance at all.
Right.
They are friends, as we say on the show, Toklek.
Yep.
They are joined at the hip. In fact, in 2021, they signed a 25-year strategic partnership. Okay. $400 billion in investments. That's got to sting.
Yep.
Watching them all go up in smoke.
By the way, China's the worst friend ever because when Iran needed their help,
Yes.
where were they?
Yes.
Same with Venezuela. They're the worst.
Long-term oil supplies, just like Venezuela. Right? Did they do anything to help Venezuela? The only thing they did was import their technology, which we'll talk about in a little while. Again, they imported 1.38 million barrels per day.
Yes.
Right. And what they were doing was because Iran was sanctioned by other countries, they shipped them through other countries through shadow fleets, right? So
they also did oil for weapons deals. You know, they were like, hey, give us those air defense systems and we'll give you oil type thing.
Yes, but this relationship is wildly selfish.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And this is something that's going to resonate, I think, for the next decade or two in the rest of the world.
Everybody's going to realize that China is there to take and never give.
Correct. Because there's no mutual defense treaty. You better believe Iran would have been knocking on the door saying, China, can we please get some sort of, give me a crumb. Give me a crumb, daddy.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Some sort of mutual defense pact because China will not come to their aid militarily.
Nope.
They're saying they are, though, on the internet.
Yes.
Limited Chinese investment was actually delivered, China doing its China thing, right? BRI projects, China will say, we'll build you this, we'll do this, we'll give you this. most of that doesn't come to fruition.
No.
Or it's some sort of very long debt trap thing that never really pans out.
Yeah, some substandard railway or like,
Can you give
buildings.
us an example?
Well, I mean, everywhere around the world, especially in Africa, they will go and set up a railway or set up a building. But as you could see in the footage that we showed you, they import the Chinese workers, so they don't even create local jobs.
Yeah.
So nothing happens. All you do is you end up with a substandard infrastructure project.
Yeah.
If it's a train station or a highway or whatever, it can be normally very destructive to the local environment. And it, like I said, doesn't generate any jobs, and it puts the country in debt.
I think a great example is what happened in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
There, what did they build? An MTR line, like a tram type situation.
Yeah, in the city.
Complete disrepair.
Yeah, it's not even running anymore. It can't even work. So
the relationship is basically based on who we hate. I like to think of this as like, let's say you have two different cliques at school. Okay. And one of them's the jocks and one of them's, let's say, chess club.
Sure.
And they don't like each other very much normally, right?
Yeah.
But you got the teacher who's a real dick.
Sure.
This teacher's a real dick. He's very strict, right?
Yeah.
All the students kind of band together and they're like, yeah, we hate the teacher, right?
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat here. It's a very fragile alliance if you bring it to a geopolitical stance, because hating one country doesn't get you a defense.
So the jocks and the chess club team up and, together they prank the teacher or something.
I mean, nothing happens.
Yes,
That's what happens in the end. They can't do anything or else they get expelled.
Sure.
And in this case, expel means they get bombed. The partnership is fragile. It's very fragile. It's mostly economically motivated. And China will give you promises up until a point because they don't want to end up on the receiving end of the U.S. being like, yo, you helped an enemy?
Yeah.
Next. China's very vulnerable. You talked about this oil thing, right?
Sure.
Very, very vulnerable. They despite what you hear, they're not running on freaking solar and wind farms. They're just not. I don't care if some French NGO said that China is the leader of renewable technology. Go to China for yourself, and I hate saying this because this is what Chinese propagandists say. Go to China and see for yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me if you don't walk into choking pollution and see coal plants and oil everywhere.
Yep, and all the trucks barreling down the highway constantly 24/7. Big diesel-powered things,
Yes. So we talked about this before, but almost half of its oil comes from the Middle East. It's the world's largest oil importer.
Yes.
So China is importing the most oil in the world. So much for this green technology country, right? It's coming through the Strait of Hormuz, which gets blocked. Right.
Yeah.
You're in a situation where then China has to buy oil on the market, not free sanctioned oil from around. Let's call it free, basically. Let's be honest.
It's pretty much free.
They have to buy it at dollar prices. That brings China back into the fold of the dollar. Something they're trying to do, something that's would be devastating to America, is if the world moved away from the dollar.
Yeah, they've been trying this whole de-dollarization thing for decades now.
When's the first time you saw that on a Twitter propaganda campaign? It's been years now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been tracking that, right?
100%. It's definitely more than 10 years now. But I mean, it's been ramped up so many times, and all the CCP propagandists and shills and so on will always be like, it's the end of the dollar, end of dollar dominance. They love that.
Yeah, not to harp too much about the oil thing, but China's, you cut off oil and energy from China, it rocks China's boat much more than it would ever America.
Yes, exactly.
And we're seeing that now. I think that's one of those things is you have to wait until a global conflict happens to see if you're actually going to be able to step up to the plate, because China says we're insulated from this. We don't need anything. We're completely self-sufficient. And then when you drop tariffs on them, they go, oh, crap. Right?
Yeah.
You cut off their oil supply. They go, oh, actually, we can't run completely domestically on renewable energy, right?
Yep.
The chickens come to roost, right?
Yeah, China's the land of shortcuts and facades. So it's all about talk. It's all about, we could do this, we could do that. But when it comes down to it, they can't. Oh, we can make the most advanced chips in the world. When it comes down to it, you just peel off the label and underneath it says Intel.
It's like a knee-jerk last-second response to everything. Whenever they claim to be something, it turns out they're not. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
The next thing is actually something that's going to be really bad long term, and I think you actually kind of you talked about this a little earlier. China was supposed to be the peaceful mediator of the world. Now, I know that sounds crazy because nobody thinks of China and thinks, oh, what a peaceful country, right?
Although they keep pushing that.
That's new, right? So the whole thing is they broker peace deals between countries. They're trying to kind of step into the shoes of America and be like, oh, America's chaotic and they just love war. We're gonna be the architects of peace across the world. The problem is, although they were the architects of peace between Saudi and Iran, how long has that lasted? Right? I don't think Saudi Arabia is going to be very pleased with Iran's actions. In
they're
the Middle
busy
East.
picking Shahed drones out of their buildings.
Exactly. Beijing, at the end of the day, calls for ceasefires.
Yeah.
Right? It says you got to be neutral. You got to stop having wars.
You know what?
They don't do
Again,
anything.
people keep forgetting they're always like America is this warmongering, evil thing goes around creating wars. What they don't understand is this is all about security guarantees. If America says that they will protect you from an enemy, well, they come in and they fight when that enemy attacks. That's kind of what the war is all about. They are, protecting the sea routes where you're supposed to have free passage.
Just the region in general.
Yeah. So China's trying to pretend like they're going to give security guarantees without actually doing anything.
Correct.
So, you can see it now. They guaranteed, unrivaled friendship with Venezuela and with Iran. They didn't come in to fight. They won't come in to fight for you. They're not going to be that person who comes in and stands by your side.
No.
They're a very selfish nation.
When push comes to shove, they can say we are the architects of peace. They can have some sort of agreement. They can get world leaders to come and shake hands, right? But you have to follow up with that, like you said. China will never follow up.
No.
They are not following up now. And that's actually a big problem for the Chinese populace, as we'll show you in a little bit, is that they think that they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So they have to project that on the domestic populace that they are. Simultaneously, they're in a big problem because if they do tell the world that we are going to come in militarily and defend Iran, well, then you got to deal with the U.S. and they definitely don't want to deal with that.
No.
Right. Ultimately, they might be a economic power, but this war in particular is highlighting the gaps between Chinese influence and U.S. power. U.S. power is real. Chinese influence is, I know it's overused, a paper tiger.
Yeah.
Next. The reality, and I think this is the most damning for China right now, and I have some amazing quotes. The military reality is that China, for the past, I would say 3 to 5 years, has been telling everyone in China and abroad that the U.S. military is not that good.
Yeah.
It's aged. It's not up to date. Meanwhile, we have 50th generation fighters. We in China have hypersonic missiles. We have all this stuff that you can't even fathom.
Sure.
So America better not push us too much because we've outpaced them so much.
Well, because the thing is, nothing's come along and slapped them for a long time. So it's easy to talk smack, when you're just sitting around and your adversary is not ever doing anything to you. It's kind of like a UFC match. If you've got somebody who's just talking smack all the time, the other guy's just silent.
Yeah.
But then he comes and just knocks the guy out in a single punch.
100%.
That's China.
I think a great example of that are all the videos leading up to this saying, and Venezuela saying that, and you covered a little bit of this, saying that the U.S. couldn't dare enter Iran or Venezuela because they would get shut out by radar.
Yeah,
get shut out by our Chinese technology.
Exactly, with the Hongqi, Jiubi, more like Shabi. It's this like air defense missile system that they put in both in Pakistan where it failed and in Iran. And that thing was supposed to intercept all the American jets and all the cruise missiles and whatever ballistic threats. And it's paired with this advanced radar system.
Yes.
And it failed in both situations completely.
U.S. forces struck thousands of targets within days.
Yeah.
Right. That sent shockwaves down China's spine. Iranian leadership was removed. That's also China's biggest dilemma is they didn't think the U.S. would ever go in and have the guts or the balls to take out an actual president or leader. And they did it immediately.
Sure.
Right? This is terrifying because now China has to sit back and watch their own systems in Iran fail.
Yep.
Right. Number one. Number two, the defenses that they had set up, the Western and American missiles penetrated them with ease.
Sure.
What do you think they're going to use in Taiwan?
Yeah.
Right. Against with a Taiwan invasion, right?
Yeah.
Or in China, if there's ever a future conflict, they're going to use their own stuff, right?
Yeah.
China's anti-access military technology might be overrated.
Sure.
Which is the thing they keep bragging about.
It is
Who
overrated.
needs to fight a war when we can block everything out like a big shield? That's what China says all the time, right?
Sure.
and its reputation as a global arms supplier could suffer. China's trying to make weapons for the world and make money off it. Why would you buy it?
I don't think anyone wants to buy Chinese military hardware after these failures.
I don't think so. And again, I love to read this quote. There are people in the government that are advisors for the CCP that have come out and actually admitted that the U.S. is unparalleled.
Yeah, when it comes to it was a wake-up call for some professors. I remember there was a thing. Do you have that quote?
I do. I should, yeah.
Right.
There are, I mean, I can paraphrase as well. There are military analysts in Beijing that have gone on to say that the U.S. would lose any sort of massive conflict.
Yeah.
And now have to go out there and say the U.S. is the unparalleled superpower of the world militarily.
Well, if you were to believe Chinese propaganda, which they pump out 24/7, America is decaying and dying, full of drug addicts and homeless people everywhere, and their military is full of fat, lesbians who can't operate a machine and who dress up in dog masks or whatever.
Yeah.
There's maybe some truth to some of those things, but like in general, that's not the entire, system.
Yes.
But they take these little small examples and overblow them to make it seem as if America's just a weak, decaying, dying country, and that China's amazing with its big navy and its big, military and all of this stuff and all of its advanced technology and humanoid robots and whatever. And people buy it. And the populace buys it, and the scientists buy it, and the whole of China buys it, and they start to believe that, yes, we are the world's superpower,
Yeah.
But reality comes a-knocking, and then they're like, wait a second, maybe we are misjudging the situation a bit.
Yes. Let me read this.
Okay.
The U.S.'s decapitation of Iran's leaders highlights America's superior military strength and runs counter to the popular view that we and China portray that the U.S. is in decline.
Yeah, exactly.
The two incidents, which Beijing condemned as infringements of sovereignty, of course, showed not only that Washington's military strength remained superior, but also that its methods of warfare have further evolved. This is quotes from China's military analyst.
Yeah.
According to Shi Yinhong, a professor of international relations at Renmin University of Beijing. Zheng Yongnian, a political scientist and government advisor, said, in reality, the U.S. retains formidable economic strength and possesses unparalleled military power globally.
Yes.
What a big wake-up call.
It is a massive wake-up call. It's quite fascinating when you learn about how, everything works together in a strike like this, because, the fighter jets aren't just jets. They're actually technology nodes that go out there and talk to each other. And, the whole electronic warfare thing that works, it's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that China hasn't really been taking
Well, I think
into
they've bought into
consideration.
their primitive, very primitive analysis that they had prior, right? That, we must be better because Xi Jinping told us that we're better.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's a bit of a wake-up call.
All right.
Now, importantly, this actually brings up the Taiwan question. This is something that China doesn't want to talk about.
Okay, so what is the Taiwan question?
At first glance, the analysts are saying, hey, if we're in Iran as America, it's going to deplete our weapon sources. It's also going to make China much more likely to invade Taiwan because America's all tied up in the Middle East.
Well, I got to say, one thing that's come out of this conflict is, China on a daily basis has been harassing Taiwan. They send their fighter jets and they do these exercises where they actually incur into Taiwanese airspace almost every single day. And this is to threaten, harass, and intimidate Taiwan. Well, since this conflict has started, they stopped doing that.
Yeah.
So it shows you that they're like, whoa, maybe we shouldn't push the envelope too much.
Because in counter to that, the war demonstrated that the U.S. precision intelligence and decapitation strikes capabilities are amazing.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And also the ability to conduct complex long-range operations, something that China keeps saying America doesn't have the ability to do anymore.
Yeah.
Right? The analysts note that the PLA has not fought a major war in nearly 50 years.
Sure.
A big issue. Recent military
since they invaded Vietnam.
Yes, they've wiped out their entire military leadership, by the way. So we're going to have new blood in there with
True.
In fact, they got rid of the only guy that had war experience, by the way.
Yeah.
The only one. He's gone.
You learn really quickly if you haven't had experience. You can talk a big game, but when it comes down to it,
and now people are saying, and this gives me hope, that Beijing was kind of getting comfortable with the idea that the U.S. might not come to the aid of Taiwan.
Yeah.
A lot of analysts are saying maybe that's not the case, and Beijing actually might be believing that America will and has the capability to defend Taiwan.
Yeah,
So that's a big 180.
Yeah, for sure.
From what we've been seeing. Rather than creating an opening, the war may reinforce deterrence in the Taiwan Strait.
Yeah.
So last thing here is why China will ultimately lose without even fighting. Just to sum it up, you have the energy risk, losing oil.
Sure.
Financial vulnerability. If you end up in a sanction scenario, you got to play within the U.S. dollar system. They're trying to get away from that, right?
Yep.
You don't want to get sanctioned. Diplomatic humiliation. They don't help their friends. How are you going to get new friends in a global conflict?
Yes.
You don't want to be isolated here. And China's been trying to get global friends with the BRI, right?
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Don't trust China. China is asshole.
Is that your advice?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, but they've never helped any of their so-called friends.
Yes. So military credibility damage. The defense systems look like they've been very ineffective thus far in three scenarios. Because you said Pakistan as well.
Yes.
Right. Strategic.
4 scenarios. Remember, Thailand tanks.
Oh my gosh.
Completely rubbish.
I was talking about specifically their radar stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely. Strategic deterrence or strengthens. The U.S. power has now kind of renewed this whole, we are actually good. We're not decaying in a terrible military force.
Sure.
We can do stuff, right? The final conclusion: China is a rising economic power. That's never going to stop.
Yes.
It might stagnate at some point. But the United States remains the dominant global military and financial power. China started believing that it wasn't. I think they were drinking their own Kool-Aid. And that's a problem with the top-down leadership in China. It used to be, and there's never a democracy, but it used to be a situation where at least there was 100 guys that could talk to each other about stuff. Now it's one.
Yeah.
It's one dude.
He's one dude, and he could just believe what he wants to believe.
And then put that out there.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Prolonged instability in the Middle East hurts China more than it weakens the U.S., and that's something they're going to have to learn from this whole thing. So unlike Professor Jiang, with some wild predictions that
He's just a Fruit Loop, man. That guy's a kook.
A lot of which were wrong.
Anyone who thinks they can predict the future is also just like, go to a carnival. It's where you belong, in like in like one of those gypsy wagons and get a crystal ball.
That's why we don't make massive future predictions, right?
Yeah.
There's no way to know. What we can do is give you this information that we gave you just now on what has happened thus far. This is what's happened thus far, and this is probably why China will ultimately lose in this scenario.
Gotcha.
And that's based on facts and logic, right?
Exactly.
So what we've been seeing is China going out there and kind of having a loud silence. They say, don't do this, America, you're being bad, don't invade.
That type of thing.
And they back off, right?
Sure.
The Chinese internet's a little different story.
Yes. Now that's the uniqueness where you come into to the China shows, you can see what's actually happening in China. So can you explain what's happening here?
So while China tries to say we don't use fake news, we don't propagate rumors, we don't make things up, we are a nation of truth, all this kind of stuff, right? They live in a country with no independent media. So if you have a country that basically dictates what everyone can say and think, if something gets out there in the Chinese internet and becomes the dominant opinion, that's the Chinese government's opinion.
For sure.
If they didn't remove it, that's the Chinese government.
That's what they want people to see, yes.
So apparently, Iran's deployment of advanced weaponry completely shattered the myth of Israel's air defense because Iran has launched a super heavy missile carrying a 1-ton warhead to strike Israel.
Okay,
I guess I must have missed that one.
Yeah, guys. I missed that one. But remember, we showed you earlier in the week, we showed you how they were saying that Tel Aviv was on fire. They showed footage from Dubai, from the Iranian airstrikes, and said that was Tel Aviv. They were constantly putting all this fake news out there about like American aircraft carriers being destroyed, that type of thing. And it's being allowed to proliferate around the Chinese internet.
We're just getting started. Have a look at the rest of the stuff. We'll try to rip through this. It's crazy. The Douyin feed, so that's China's TikTok, is just covered in very, very popular videos that support Iran. So although they're being silent basically from an official standpoint, all their media is saying the craziest stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah, well, the Great Translation Movement actually translated this particular clip, so I thought, let's get out of here, and we'll play it quickly so you can see some of the things.
哈梅内伊都没死啊，他不是替身，俄罗斯秘密的把哈梅内伊转移走了。
咱站这边直接打响了。
俄罗斯啊，美国意思要干我，你得帮帮我。
大哥说老弟儿，
你给我稳住。俄罗斯这边拿起电话通知了埃及、黎巴嫩、叙利亚。喂，是龙哥吗？开打了。龙哥这边拿起电话通知了也门胡塞。
Brother Long is supposed to be China, by the way. Brother Dragon, I guess is what they're trying to say. But you can see there's all these kooky myths. Oh, yeah, Khomeini didn't, the Ayatollah, sorry, Ayatollah Ayatollah didn't die. He was actually secreted off to Russia, that kind of thing.
阿富汗还有巴基斯坦。喂，是老三吗？老三说是我打的，把你家所有导弹支起来。另外，要求的小弟也门胡塞，包括黎巴嫩政党，包括哈马斯，直接集合。
当时老美就吓尿了，
老美一个电话，直接给他们鬼子周过去了。
说谁是英国首相斯塔默的吗？是法国总统变色龙吗？当我者死，逆我者亡。
今天146个国家组织1200万人要整死以色列。
亚美尼亚出了3万人，塔吉克斯坦出了5万人，
俄罗斯出动6个集团军，龙哥出动3个集团军。
风暴军团将于今天晚上11点40抵达伊朗德黑兰。
是我刚刚的消息，北风之神战略结合舰艇从北极一脚油门的横插中东。
土耳其跟伊朗从地中海已经逼近了耶路撒冷，
就连古巴还有巴西都进入了德黑兰吗？
日本的海上自卫队，
欧美大批的海军陆战队一脚油门的奔着伊朗就来了。美国的舰长这边直接说来。
This is just annoying fantasy nonsense.
It is nothing but fantasy, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm not even joking. These are dominant opinions all over. Like, it's like, wait till you see some of the other stuff later. Iran's winning and America's like cowering right now.
你用准俄罗斯，你妈的给我来个团灭！伊朗的佩泽奇奇扬眼泪都掉下来了，说普大帝，我们伊朗认命，你回去得了啊！说你俄罗斯今天帮我了，美国没打我，那么明天美国还是得整死我，反正我早晚都得死。说你赶紧回去吧。当时大俄在旁边就急眼了，大俄指着老美的鼻子说了：“说老美，你跟谁打放屁呢？”
我三弟讲话了，是换你那个臭毛病的，我随时随地的我都能克你们，我必须得呼你们大嘴巴子。
操你祖宗的！我灭你九族，我满门抄斩。
我再跟你们说个大事儿
，2个小时，俄罗斯直接呱呱塞边往以色列干了2300多枚炮弹。
轰6K，霹雳19，
红旗杠18，红旗杠34，歼10，歼16，噼里啪啦一顿大导弹拔地而起，瞬间升空。
而就在这个节骨眼上，美国在卡塔尔的2个加强旅基本上整户消亡了，整个中东都打成了一窝粥了。前线总指挥威廉姆斯被龙哥的海豹突击队一枪就打腿上了。
老菲律宾的船更惨了，船上的空调外机都被炸没了。
在中东不是你死，这边就是我亡。老美的空军司令当场直接被干死。咱家说的都是真心话，这不是开玩笑，这个事儿千真万确。
2架苏57突破了以色列的铁穹防空系统，然后奔着以色列的内塔尼亚胡办公室到达上面之后，用郁金香排气炮发射了。
Dude, like, did these guys all go to the Alex Jones School of Presentation or something?
I think it might be even more outlandish.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they're just screaming nonsense into a microphone.
What I want people to not be confused by is that this, you can't just have freedom of speech in China, right?
No.
Like, all of this is okayed.
Yes, this has to be like, the government's like, yes, this is allowed.
If one of the, which is crazy, because nothing they said was true.
No.
But if they were to go out, if this guy was to go out and say, America just performed 4 strikes today.
Yeah.
They took out this target, this target, this target. Here were the casualties. America suffered 0 casualties. They'd be removed.
Of course.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, but they have to make up all this outlandish nonsense and scream about it and be very annoying.
Yes, it's crazy.
You know, do we have to watch the rest of this?
I think it's almost done, but no,
okay.
we don't have to.
All right, I'll play it out.
小当量的核弹嘎巴一下就炸，他把以色列国防部一看，打整个跑吧，今天谁也跑不了，我直接就轮你。
我打你他妈后头痒，直接就给以色列打放屁了。
美国这个时间懵了，现在美国可彻底的懵了，美国这一看废了，老美你出事儿了。
说老子你奶奶个三角楼子，
那家伙导弹得有3米多长，
约有200来吨左右，买绿色的那么粗那么长，4444枚核弹全部给我上膛，
屁股直冒火，奔着美国。
你炸你老美的华盛顿了，呼通一下子倒计时3个数，给我放
1个字给我唱，往死里给我干，
扑通扑通咕咚咕咚往下干呢，老炮弹全闷上了。
现在我老弟是得谁和谁，没有面子。只要说稍微让我有一点不得劲儿，我必须干你。干什么？伊朗下一步要干什么？要炸联合国。
Okay.
What I wanted to show here is that the reality is that China's acting diplomatic and, oh, don't have war, whatever, like whatever. But then on the Chinese internet, on official sources, by the way, are cheering Iran on like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
This isn't like fringe opinion stuff.
Yeah,
right?
not like those weird screaming guys.
No, it says Iran's quagmire tactic hits the United States where it hurts. The glory of the times, global crisis. And they're acting like Iran's actually like wiping the floor with the U.S. right now.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they aren't, but they're acting like it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
This is
So
China Daily.
What did they say? The latest developments in Iran in recent days, news about the Middle East has been flying around. Iran has not been defeated, but has shown strong resilience in war. As the U.S. military suffered casualties, anti-war sentiment in the United States continued to rise. Remember, that's a big part of what the Chinese propaganda engine is doing, is they're paying protesters to go out and say, like, no more war. And of course, they're legitimate protesters, and legitimately nobody likes war. Nobody wants to be involved in war. But at the same time, the agitators that you see out there that's rising up is a lot to do with these influence operations from China.
Do you see this, though? This isn't those screaming guys. This is China Daily, the top propaganda apparatus in Chinese for domestic Chinese people cheering on Iran.
Yes.
This is a dangerous game they're playing, especially with this going into this deal with trying to have this summit with the U.S.
Yeah.
You're playing a dangerous game with this.
Yeah, exactly. The United States is now in a dilemma and will end up completely mired in a protracted war. You know, click the video, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we get it. Their actual official messaging from China's State Daily is, the China Daily outlet is very different to what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Outward.
Yeah, in English.
Yeah. Right. They're like, oh, we condemn this or whatever. Meanwhile, it's like, they suck.
Douyin exclusive. Iran used missiles to shatter the unspoken rules of war in the Middle East for half a century, stepping on the 3 red lines of life and death between the United States and Israel and shredding the myth of anti-missile hegemony that the U.S. has blown for decades.
Yeah, I know.
You'd think Iran's like smoking the U.S., dude.
Yeah, it's very opposite to what's actually going on.
This guy we've seen.
Yes.
They actually hire foreigners in China that speak Chinese to do their dirty work, right? So they'll go and be like, we love the CCP, it's amazing, or whatever. It's like a shill, right?
Yeah.
This one is Italian.
Because he looks Italian? He's going like this?
I think he's a Middle Eastern.
Got to go like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Iran's retaliation is still ongoing. They got this guy who they always get him to do propaganda or whatever. Now he's doing pro-Iran stuff.
Yes, Iran has vowed to fight to the end and is ready for a long-term war. Trump has gone too far this time. Okay. Yep.
See the juxtaposition?
Yeah, the juxtaposition between... They always hide behind their language barrier. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's this? Iran launched 19 waves of attacks and broke through the U.S. anti-missile system.
Did they?
We have no intention of negotiating with the United States, exclusive to Douyin. Yeah. This is the kind of thing you expect them to say.
It's just crazy, though. This is the front page. All on the front page. The dominant opinion is the U.S. lost.
Yes. Recently, a video has been circulating online claiming an Iranian fighter jet was hit. The pilot didn't eject, but instead turned the nose and flew straight into a U.S. warship, perishing together with it. Many netizens commented, "Born in China, how fortunate we are. It made me cry watching this. Salute to the hero." Subsequently, official media debunked the rumor. The truth is out. It's actually game footage. So, we saw this a lot in the beginning. In fact, X had to implement a new policy because people were doing this with AI.
Yeah.
Using game footage or AI to say like, oh, this happened in the war. So now they're actually suspending monetization for accounts that do that.
Yeah.
Without explicitly saying it's AI.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's going big in China, though, because they didn't have those rules, Anyway, yes, using game footage to prove that Iran is winning is nonsense,
By kamikazeing their planes.
Yeah, exactly. What's this? A post submitted by a Chinese internet user claims that Iran's largest reinforcements have arrived, that Trump has suffered an epic betrayal and Iran will achieve final victory.
This is all you see, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's running completely as an affront to reality.
Yeah, look, this is China Live. Breaking and developing. Unconfirmed reports suggest the death of former Israeli minister Yoav Gallant in an Iranian strike. But then he replied, "The rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated."
That's a pretty funny quote.
Exactly. It's pretty funny.
I don't know much about the Israel side of things, but it's pretty hilarious because China has been turning on Israel in particular in this media.
I think they realize that that's the easy way out because that's the current narrative is to blame Israel for dragging America into the war.
Yeah, because that's a popular narrative around the world.
Yeah, you got to blame the Jews. That's just the way it goes,
Yeah, this day and age, right?
Yeah.
That aside, whatever you think about that, they know that's a pressure point. So what I always want to remind people is that whether you support the invasion or you're against the invasion or you're anti-Israel or you're pro-Israel or whatever, push all of that here. All of that goes here.
For sure.
You can have that conversation over here.
Yeah, that's for some other time in another place.
China and Russia.
Chill out, have a tequila.
Yes. Are looking over at your problems, right? And they go, how do I pretend to be a legitimate opinion? How do I put $1 billion behind this and make everyone turn on each other so we don't even have to
guys,
fight
this
America?
is a great example of, misinformation. Because take a look. This is a X account. And this is one of the propaganda accounts. Remember, they were like 10 to 15 million accounts that they found that China just created to put this crap out there. China Live X or whatever on X, putting out disinformation, and it spreads and people start to believe it.
Yeah.
It's just all part of it. They're all trying to sow division.
Yeah.
They're trying to make America hate itself.
For sure.
And they're trying to break up strategic partnerships between America and its allies like Israel. This is what they want.
And by the way, I wish we had included this. China will do the same thing from the other side of the fence.
Yes.
So they'll actually go, and we saw this during when they were trying to divide Democrats and Republicans the most.
Yeah.
They would fund like what looks like bot accounts that would be like picking at the problems of the Democrats, and they would do the exact same thing on the right.
Yep.
And they would do the same thing at the same time because they try to get people to fight. They don't have an opinion about this.
Yes.
China's only opinion is we're screwed. We're going to run out of energy. This is going to affect us domestically.
Now we got to switch gears here a little bit. Okay. Play this clip from the BBC for you to take a look at here.
Development in Iran. Authorities have announced they will be installing smart cameras in public places to identify women who are unveiled and not observing the country's strict dress code.
Cameras are being installed in public places in Iran to identify women who are not wearing the hijab. According to Iranian officials, women who are caught on camera will be sent a warning by text message. The increase in surveillance is part of the ruling regime's crackdown on women who are challenging the country's compulsory dress code.
Okay. So we heard about this. I think everybody heard about this, but there were huge protests because a young woman, a 22-year-old woman, was arrested for not wearing her hijab properly, and then she was murdered by the security force. They beat her to death, basically, so she died from her injuries. And so there was a massive protest, and women were burning their hijabs, and they were cutting their hair, and so they were like, whoa, this is getting out of control. They're like, brother China, please send us your best surveillance cameras where you keep track of all your people for your social credit system and all that. We want that so that we can spy on who's not wearing a hijab, so that we can start to enforce them. Smart technology so that it can identify the person and then a text message gets sent to them.
And China goes, absolutely.
They're like, of course.
That's a big issue.
One thing people don't understand is that in China's dealings with Iran, not only did they send them weapons, in other words, anti-aircraft, defense systems, air defense systems, radars, all the precursors and the things you need to build and produce rocket fuel, all the chips and guidance systems to turn their dumb rockets into smart rockets, that kind of thing. China's been sending them all of this stuff, but they've also been sending them technology to control the internet. Very important, because that's one thing that China does very well, is censoring the internet and controlling the internet. We all know that the Great Firewall of China prevents, and we experienced it for over a decade, prevents people from accessing the outside world. So they sent that technology to Iran so they can shut off their internet, they can monitor the people inside of Iran, and also their surveillance cameras and technology so that they can keep an eye on and track all of their citizens and basically just intimidate them and enforce whatever they want to enforce. Those work well. The military vehicles, not so much. They've failed miserably. They suck. But those technologies work well. However, they are now very scared, and I'll show you why. Yeah, this, by the way, sorry, the little bit from that article, it says, outlines the policies and imported hardware behind the growth of Iran's fine-tuned censorship regime, which allowed authorities to almost entirely cut off its 93 million people from the global internet. During the height of January's anti-government protests, the internet blacked out. And this is all because of Chinese technology, right? Chinese companies have supplied Iran with several key categories of surveillance technologies, including internet filtering equipment from telecom companies such as Huawei and ZTE, and surveillance technologies from camera makers like Hikvision and Tiandi, right?
Chinese technology allowed Iran to mass murder people in the darkness.
I think people don't understand that they enabled these horrible things. And we're all familiar with this imagery. We've seen it before. Chinese technology when it comes to spying on its own populace, because it's not for anything other than spying on its own populace. It's big brothers watching you nonsense, right? And they're very out about this. They're not trying to hide it. They're very proud of this technology that they've developed in order to pinpoint where people are at any given time.
Yeah.
They've got lots of different ways of doing this, of course, and not just facial recognition and being able to monitor your gait and that type of thing. But they also have these what look like Wi-Fi routers up there. What that thing does is it spoofs your phone into thinking it's a strong
cell signal.
Cell signal, right? So your phone will ping it and connect to it. It's not to steal data. It's just so that it can get the unique identifier, the IMEI number of your phone, so that if they know your phone's, because they will in China, they will always know whose phone is what number. They can then track where your phone goes. It's not about seeing what's on your phone, but they do tie it in with apps and big data monitoring and all that kind of thing. This is the kind of technology that they were selling and setting up in Iran. Okay. And of course, it's a terrifying technology, and it's terrifying to think and know that you're being monitored 24/7 every time you leave your house, even when you're in your house because of the phone you're using. But that's the way China's been going for, over a decade. Since 2010, I'd say, is when it really ramped up. All right? So the issue is that, and wait for it, got a little snippet here for you.
You see, Iran has built a very extensive internal surveillance system. It had installed cameras to spy on its own people, to monitor protesters and dissenters. Unfortunately for them, the same cameras were used by the enemy to spy on the regime.
That's the problem, is that Israel hacked the cameras, these hijab-enforcing cameras,
China cameras,
the China cameras, the traffic cameras, and they were able to pinpoint the movements. And apparently for years they've had access now, and they've been dumping this stuff and using AI and all sorts of things to, analyze it. They were able to see exactly where the Ayatollah, I keep saying Ayatollah, I mean Ayatollah. The Ayatollah's security forces were, the supreme douchebag. Okay.
Well, you really prepared it there.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, they were keeping track of where his security forces were parking their cars. They were able to follow them home, be able to build an entire map of these people's daily lives and the way that they move around. And that's actually what helped them pinpoint where he would be for this precision strike.
Yes.
That, and of course, they had an on-the-ground agent from the CIA as well. But on top of that, the main thing is that they were able to hack into this camera system.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, so, the thing they were trying to use for oppression was used against the oppressors. I like that.
Very interesting.
I like that. It's very, very smart.
Yeah.
One camera placed at just the right angle reportedly showed something small, but something very, very critical. It showed the place where Ayatollah Khamenei's security detail parked their cars.
Oops.
Do you see why China might be worried?
Yeah, for sure.
China has the most cameras, surveillance cameras in the world.
Yeah. So given a conflict, basically, if like U.S. intelligence or whatever had an idea of how to get into those camera networks, the entire country's mapped out.
That's the thing. The way it's put together is very patchwork.
Yeah.
It's not this Big Brother's watching you central system that's very well planned out.
For sure.
The way it was rolled out in different phases. It's a bunch of different competing companies, security companies, bid
for government contracts.
Yeah, for government contracts. So you've got this company here does like stuff that tracks cell phones. This company here is the one that tries to figure out the gait of the people. And then you've got maybe 2 or 3 different ones doing facial recognition. And they're all trying to do it at the same time through different corrupt bids and things like that.
Yeah.
You got the other ones that, monitor the apps on people's phones and their internet traffic and all this kind of junk. Now, they've implemented them in different provinces in different ways. It's a patchwork.
Yeah.
It does eventually all lead into a central database.
Sure.
But do you see how many little holes and leaks and potential entry points there are around the entire country?
Mm-hmm.
Xi Jinping is sweating right now because who knows? Maybe it's already been going on. But if they were able to do it in Iran, why can an external force not hack into China's cameras and keep track of exactly where Xi Jinping is?
Look at how quickly Venezuela happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So, of course, this has really gotten Xi Jinping spooked. Has to have, right? Why do you think after the Venezuela thing, they took Zhongnanhai off of the map? You couldn't search for it anymore.
That's like China's White House.
Yeah, they took it right off. It's because
Google
of this kind of thing. Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, they're on behalf of China.
Well, we don't know how.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, speculate.
But all of the Chinese ones took them off.
Yeah.
Remember all the Baidu and everything?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got a situation here where maybe this massive surveillance oppressive system that China's implemented is now its biggest weak point.
Could be.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what China is obviously analyzing right now. They must be really rushing to try and figure out and plug holes.
For sure.
You know?
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah. So Of course, Xi Jinping's going to be scared stiff at the moment. And that's maybe why they're also pulling back on the whole Taiwan aggression thing at the moment, too.
Yeah.
You know, think about it.
That doesn't matter why they do it. The fact that they're pulling back is making me very happy right now.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, if you missed this on Monday, check it out. This is our private show. So 1, spicy Pepsi. Number 2 is whole man. Number 3 is top that,
vanilla
stop
hole.
that. Yeah, vanilla hole, sorry, yeah. And then 4 is ozone.
Just under a dog whistle so I can hear it. Oh, too young. I can hear the frequency.
Yeah. There's like rebar sticking out. Do you think he dug a little bit of that out there? Because there's some stuff up there, you know? Yeah. Now, what would English South Africans say?
Oh, okay.
You know?
Talkie.
Not talkie. Yeah, he's found the second one.
He found the second
copy.
Now it's kind of starting to make sense out their goggles.
So they'd bury people and then later find out like claw marks in the inside of the coffins and stuff because, you know, they'd wake up. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, so that was our Monday show. It's a VIP show. Shaban Ho, do you want to tell everyone what we were talking about?
Yeah, go to the next slide and you can see what we looked like because you might not have seen very clearly. We did have handlebar mustache.
Yeah, exactly.
For one time only.
Yes.
If you want to see those in action, you're going to have to go to patreon.com/ADV podcast. On Monday, on our 191st episode, we talked about, well, it's hard to explain.
Yes.
We had a battle of the most cringe raps of all time, and you guys voted on who the winner was.
Yes.
We had, what else did we have? It's like kind of a variety show.
What we did was we decided that, you know, because of all the news of the war in Iran and everything, we wanted to do something a bit more fun.
Oh, yeah, we did some news stories around the world, but they actually ended up getting very dark.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like positive news stories. It was just a fun episode all around.
It was super fun.
This coming Monday, we're doing a very interesting one where we're going to be sampling Chinese Special Forces rations that we've gotten sent all the way from China to us. Through alternate routes, just like how China gets its oil from Iran.
Yeah.
We had to bounce it through different countries. So we've got Navy rations, I think, and we've got Special Forces rations. And we're going to set up multiple cameras and we're going to eat it live. You're going to see exactly what it's all about.
We thought, given all this war talk all the time, might as well talk about, would China be fed well enough to fight?
Yeah, exactly. You know? So we're going to be trying out their military rations. So that should be a fun one.
It's going to be awesome.
So
definitely go check it out. Go to patreon.com/ADV podcast. It's the best way to support us. And you get access to every other episode too.
Yep.
191 episodes. There'll be 192 on Monday.
Yeah, seriously. We would seriously appreciate your support. We understand it's a big ask. So only if you have the means, of course. But we hope to see you there on Monday. It's going to be super fun.
Even if you don't have the means, go check it out.
Yeah, you can still sign up for free and get part of our newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's Propaganda time, guys.
What do we got?
Okay, let's take a look at what we got today. We got whales.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So this is something that everybody needs to pay attention to.
Okay.
It doesn't matter your political alignment. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter where you live in the world.
Okay.
Okay. Because this could literally mean the end of us all. I'm not even exaggerating.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you know, I was reading a book to my daughter the other day, and it was about whales. Okay, and it's all about, you got dolphins and porpoises.
Sound like dying whale.
Yes, sound like dying whale. But it's all about whales, okay? And, you know, it's happy, fun stuff, and it's the kind of thing that you always see, okay? You know, like these kind of books. It wasn't this one, but, you know, kids love whale books.
They love whale books.
And whales are
quite the genre.
Yeah, and whales are, you know, big. And we always learn that the blue whale, you know, the largest mammal and
that ever lived, right?
Biggest, at least now.
No, I think in history too.
Anyway, they eat krill. There's these tiny little shrimp-like things, right? That's their diet. And you like this massive thing eats these tiny little shrimp. Doesn't go eat like another whale or something. It eats the shrimp. Okay, so that's.
Can I say I have tried krill recently? Not very tasty.
Well, I mean, it's for whales.
But it's good for whales.
It's like eating dog food. It's if you eat whale food, it's not going to taste good, right?
Well, I eat sardines a lot, and they had a krill in the can, so I was like, let me try that out. Not very good.
Okay.
Not very good.
Anyway, that's what whales eat. So I remember growing up reading about whales, and I'm sure everybody of my generation is very aware of the whole Save the Whales campaign.
Oh, me too.
Save the Whales was all you ever heard about when I was growing up.
Yep.
You know, no more harpooning them, no more, you know, Japanese harpoons and, people throwing things and blubber. And you see all those like cutting the whales open old footage. Star Trek, The Voyage Home.
I was about to say, what am I looking at here?
This was all about saving the whales.
They had a whale episode of Star Trek?
Yeah, it's a movie.
They're in space.
It's one of the more loved movies.
They're in space.
No, they come back in time to San Francisco to save
the whales?
Because in the future, a probe comes from space and is putting out whale song, and there's no answer because there are no whales left, and so it starts to blow up the Earth. So they're like, we better bring some whales to answer it.
I gotcha.
So they had to go back in the past, fetch some whales, bring it to the future so the whales could talk to the probe, and then the probe's like, okay, everything's cool, and then effed off.
All right, guys, buckle in. We're going to watch the entire movie now.
We had Free Willy.
Yeah, Free Willy.
I mean, dude, it was all about saving the whales.
Yes.
Well, guess what?
Somebody
forgot somewhere along the lines about save the whales and allowed China to come in and now destroy all the whales.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because, all right, and bear with me here, but Chinese fishing firm Kai Chuang, this is from last year, by the way, this article, I shared it on X a while ago, reports nearly 200% increase in krill catch, aligning with nationwide ambitions. I'd like to read you some quotes from this particular article here quickly. All right. This Chinese fishing company, and just one of them, there are multiple Chinese fishing companies doing this, has largely expanded its krill catch in 2025 and therefore saw its profits soar over the first 3 quarters of the year. That's not what you want to know, because when they start making huge profits, they're like, let's do this more. I'd like to read you a quote from their website. This is from their website. For a populous country with relatively deficient natural resources like China, the comprehensive exploitation and utilization of Antarctic marine resources shall have an important strategic significance.
Okay.
So they're upping their exploitation of Antarctic krill, right?
Why are they bragging about this?
I don't know. That's on their website.
Well, why tell everyone?
I don't know. It's like an evil villain when he has to...
I think it's for investment.
So right now, yeah, it's probably for investment. The Chinese vessel Fuyuan Yu 9199, the largest krill trawler in Antarctica now, is pumping up krill 24/7 from one of the Earth's most fragile regions. They even use drones, all this to make fish feed for aquaculture and then spin it into China is a sustainability champion. Because every time I bring up this idea of these illegal Chinese fishing fleets around the world destroying the oceans, which they are, by the way, and no one is stopping them. And they're bottom dredging and they're doing terrible things, using the worst kind of fishing practices, cyanide fishing, electrocution, whatever, bottom dredging, all this stuff. Everyone's like, oh yeah, well, China has the largest fish farms or whatever. Sustainability, some nonsense like that. Just like they always say China's the most solar panels, even though they produce the most pollution. It's a farce. It's a facade. They're destroying the krill population in order to feed these fish farms. So it's kind of dumb, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to show a little clip from the Sea Shepherd, which is something you guys might know about. Let's take a quick look.
You have these whales going past looking for krill, and there's this massive trawler just taking it all. It's such a juxtaposition to see the wildlife and the wilderness, and then there's just industrialization.
Earlier today we saw an unmanned surface vehicle, basically a drone, and that allows the fishing vessel to remotely assess the size of a krill swarm. That allows them to go from the larger, denser krill swarm one after the other.
So China's using these drones, little boat drones that go out and they find the densest krill swarm so they can move to vacuum that up. So it's not a situation of fishing and trying to find it. It's literally just, okay, there's the densest part, vacuum it. There's the densest vacuum. And it pumps up 24/7. The technology that they use, it's not like where you have a net and you pull it on board and then you empty it out and you throw a net again. They've got vacuums that just 24/7 pump it up, which is terrifying. You know, they're just absolutely decimating the oceans of krill. Not only they're...
Killing whales.
Yeah, they are, because right now, specifically, you know, the whales go there to breed or whatever, or they go there to feed all the populations that are currently recouping after all the Save the Whales stuff. But now they're going to die because of lack of food.
Because the fishermen are sucking it all up.
Yeah, exactly. You know, here's the issue, though. Let's
We're not having to search for the swarms anymore. It's completely mind-blowing to see how much effort is put into damaging this ecosystem.
China's global fishing footprint from 2019 to 2021. You can see they are everywhere. There's not one part of the world where there are fish in the sea that they're not there exploiting.
You know what's interesting is they're not super close to the U.S. They don't dare.
That's the only place.
Isn't that crazy?
Have you noticed that? Everywhere else. Because look at the activity around Africa specifically, because they have all their corrupt dealings with the African dictators and so on. So they can just do what they please over there. Even down at South Africa and, of course, South America and around the Galapagos, they have decimated squid stocks. They've decimated certain kinds of fish stocks around the world. It's absolutely horrendous.
Well, you can see why they do it. Look at the coast of China. See the red?
Yeah.
That's gone. There's no fish left. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. They have to go abroad, but they are just taking advantage of nobody stopping them because it's international waters. So then they just exploit it. And they have systems where they can do this 24/7 for months at a time.
Yeah.
Because the fishing vessels out there are just pulling the fish out and they send big refrigerated tankers to go out there, get the haul, and resupply the fishing ships.
That's right.
So fuel, food, whatever they need for the sailors and so on, maybe bring fresh forced labor or whatever they bring along with them, because they are tied to forced labor as well. So the fishing vessels themselves can stay in one area and exploit that area nonstop for months. They don't have to go back to China. So that's why it's so dangerous, because it's like an industrial machine. You know, it's absolutely crazy that nothing is being done about this. It makes me mad. So even the Select Committee on the CCP has picked up on this. And so China's global fishing offensive and their investigation found that China has monopolized the processing of global seafood supplies through Chinese hubs, engineered a permanent state-supported cost advantage across major food production inputs, and manipulates global seafood markets to eliminate U.S. processing capacity and increase American dependence. More than 80% of U.S. seafood is imported from the largest supplier, China, which controls supply chains and accounts for $18.5 billion in trade annually. I'm sure if you go to your local supermarket here in the States and you go to the seafood area and you pick up a thing, if you look on the back, somewhere it'll say product of China.
Don't eat Chinese
Don't
fish.
buy it.
Don't buy it.
Stop supporting them.
I mean, there won't be sea life left.
Of course.
There'll be none.
It's just horrible. It's also, think about all the local fishermen who cannot compete.
That's another thing, is you can remove the ecology. Like, I don't care. Let's pretend. I don't care about the earth. I actually do. I'm not like a crazy environmentalist, but I very much care about the sustainability and ecology.
Yeah.
Let's pretend I don't. Let's say I don't give a crap about the earth.
Sure.
The earth can burn. I don't care, right? But I do care about my local jobs, right? Don't take away those jobs from those fishermen, because actually there's a human cost, right?
Yes.
A lot of countries, especially poor countries,
they rely on that.
heavily on fishing. They have no fish left.
Yes.
They can't feed themselves. They can't make money.
So we do have a link for the Select Committee on the CCP down below, and they have a kind of a plan over here.
Yeah.
But
something needs to be done.
It absolutely does. It's ridiculous, because here's the thing. It would be fine to source fish from another country like China if it wasn't China.
Yeah.
Because China does not care about sustainability. They do not care. There's no catch and release. There's no such thing as an endangered species. If it's there to be exploited, it will be exploited. Even if they say they're going to go by the laws, they always break the rules. China does break the rules as a nation. That's what they do. The Chinese government has always done this. They never stick to the rules. So even if they say, well, don't worry, we won't catch endangered hammerhead sharks, you bet they will. They'll take all of them.
Yeah.
You know, that's
100%.
the problem. So here's a little AI generated thing. I was reading those books to my kid about whales, and I'm worried that this is going to be what my kid's going to have to read her kids.
The fishermen are eating the krill.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell them right now it doesn't taste very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically it says, dead blue whales floated nearby, rotting away, while a rusty Chinese fishing ship loomed close by. The fishermen gobbled up all the krill. And this is a real reality. And I also wanted to knock something on the head, because a big counter-argument to this is that Norway does a massive amount of krill fishing as well. But can you explain why that's not as detrimental as the Chinese krill fishing?
Not even as. It's not.
Yeah.
Norway actually contributes to the sustainability of sea life, okay? Norwegian vessels operate with high transparency. They use electronic monitoring, observers.
Yep.
They have detailed catch reporting to the Commission of Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources. They are some of the architects of the laws that protect the krill.
Yeah.
Okay. China's fisheries are never following the rules. They don't adhere to international guidelines. You showed a map already.
They do, yeah, they don't have observers.
Yes. China has the world's largest distant water fishing fleet, which they call it IUU. Illegal, underreported, and unregulated fishing. The biggest by wholesale, biggest contributor to IUU violations, by the way. Norway has supported proposals for Antarctic marine protected areas. Okay. China is one of the countries that blocks these proposals.
Yes.
They block because they don't want them. They don't want to get hit with fines or criticism, right?
Sure.
Most Antarctic krill harvesting by Norway is dominated by a company called Aker Biomarine. It's a publicly visible company with sustainability certifications and traceable supply chains.
Yeah.
China uses clandestine fishing fleets across the world to suck the ocean dry.
Yes.
And they have no one to answer to. Norwegian vessels have eco-harvesting technology that pumps krill directly from nets, reducing damage and waste.
And bycatch.
And bycatch. So what bycatch is let's say I'm targeting salmon, but I catch dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the side by mistake.
That is called bycatch. You don't want bycatch.
No.
Bycatch is just waste because those animals die. You don't just go, oh, here's some bycatch and you throw it back. That's not how it works.
They're already dead, yeah.
They're already dead. So China doesn't care about bycatch. When they use these vacuum systems, they'll suck up endangered starfish. They'll
they
suck
don't
up bottom-dwelling fish that you've never even heard of that are endangered.
Yeah.
They'll suck up tons. In fact, oftentimes a lot of it is only bycatch when they're targeting certain things, right?
For sure.
So you have that scenario. So Norway is not an argument. Norway does things correctly. In fact, they help bring to attention what needs to be preserved.
And they can be held to account.
Yes, and they
Whereas
are.
China, it's all about profit models here. It's all about how much they can exploit it, and they will exploit it. Thank goodness for the Sea Shepherd for filming them doing this
it's really
and actually
cool.
getting
Big
some
support.
awareness.
Big support.
Massive support. You know, it's something we all have to pay attention to. And I'm sorry. I mean, like, I never thought of myself as any kind of environmentalist, but when I lived in China and I saw the destruction to the environment
Like what's possible.
in China, and when you went to the fishing villages and you saw how the disregard for life and the disregard for sustainability, how there are no birds in China anymore, except you have to really look for them because they've all been eaten.
Or go to a ecology preserve.
There are no critters running around other than rats in the cities or cockroaches because they're very resilient. But like, you know, in the States, you walk outside, you'll see a squirrel and you'll see a random thing here and there. There's nothing like that in China. It's all gone. I saw the destruction of nature in China. And then when you start to see how these illegal fishing fleets, which I saw with my own eyes, how many there were, thousands and thousands and thousands, and they try to downplay and pretend they don't have, it really changed something in me. I cannot stand by without at least warning people about this, because if we don't pay attention to this and we don't try to stop it, our ecology will end. Our planet will die. The food chain will collapse. It's just a matter of time. We have to stop it. I just wanted to put that out there.
100% agree.
So, you know, I'll keep posting about this stuff on my X, on my Twitter, if you're interested. But please don't stop paying attention. We have to keep paying attention to it.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, we have merch.
We do.
Yeah.
Handmade.
Yes. Get us out of here. So this is our limited merch, and it's going to be going away very soon. It's called Great Chaos Under Heaven.
天下大乱. That means what we want to give it the meaning is the algorithm is the cause of the chaos in this world.
Yes.
So you can be part of this conversation in trying to cut away from that.
Correct. It's pretty awesome. It's such a great design, and it shows somebody part of the unwired tribe who hopefully you will join, standing against the algorithm, seeing it for what it is. Hammer in hand with the no brain rot patch on the arm, unwired tribe on the back, and you can see the algorithm there. Thirst traps, communism, explosions, cryptocurrency, world dominate, all this nonsense going on. and it's constantly fed to us, and it's very unhealthy. We need to find balance and stand against it.
And you can see the giant artificial brain of wires controlling it all. You too. You don't need to disconnect or anything, but at least get the conversation started.
It's good to start the conversation. At least raise some awareness, find some balance.
100%.
So this is the kind of T-shirt you can wear out to the bar. When you go hang out with friends, people are going to ask you about it. You can tell them what the Chinese means, and you can also maybe start a conversation about how unhealthy our current reliance on, things like TikTok and scrolling and AI and all of that is.
And this was beautifully drawn.
Hand drawn.
By our in-house artist, Dragonilla. She has done all of our merch. And there's no AI used.
Yes.
So you can always be 100% sure that you get something that was drawn by a real human being with a real hand.
Yep. So algorithmic noise keeps you scrolling while critical thinking, attention, and time itself are stripped away. We're drowning in content that doesn't matter, while real systems fail in plain sight. This isn't accidental. A distracted mind is an obedient one. So unplug. Choose what deserves your attention. There we go. Join the Unwired tribe. We'll be releasing more merch along this line in the future. Mm-hmm. This is a very important part of it. So, where's that this nice strings instrument thing going on? Go to thechinashow.threadless.com where you can get that, and also you can get the signs printed out.
Yeah, there's a metal signs, there's acrylic signs, and by the way, it's almost gone.
Yeah, this isn't going to be around much longer.
No.
Yeah, just like the krill.
Yes.
Unless you act now.
Act now!
Yes. Yeah. All right.
It's worldview.
It's worldview time, guys. We talk about everything in the world, specifically with regards to China. What do you got to say about this?
You guys might have seen this.
What is this? The most handsome men in the world?
The guy on the right's not bad.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I'm just asking.
Why did you have to take the sting out of this?
I'm just saying. It looks like it's a most handsome men in the world award
MP's
competition.
And two political advisors bailed out over arrest. They were just arrested in the UK. So they're alleged China spies. They were running, allegedly, they were running defense or police operations, secret police operations for China to find dissidents like Hong Kong protesters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Remember, a lot of Hong Kong protesters during the Hong Kong protests were like half the entire country came out into the streets to say down with the CCP. A lot of them ran away to the UK.
Yeah, so of course China's very interested in keeping track,
especially
trying to suppress them. Remember, they put out huge bounties on some of them.
Yeah. So these guys are under investigation right now for that.
Yeah, for helping China suppress people abroad. It's called transnational repression.
It is.
It's something that's happened to us personally. We know all about it.
What's interesting, somebody said Quora mods. If you know, you
Dude,
know.
yeah.
Bro, I did a whole video on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead to the next thing, because this reminded me of something. And there's something really
This morning.
Okay.
This is a little bit of a...
Okay, we want to see
this real quick.
Sure.
Officers from counter-terrorism policing arrested 3 men as part of an investigation into suspected National Security Act 2023 offences. All 3 men were arrested on suspicion of assisting a foreign intelligence service contrary to Section 3 of the National Security Act.
So that was the official thing. But do you guys remember this? In 2024, we covered this.
Yes.
There was a spy handler from China that was hunting down Hong Kong people, right, in the UK.
Yeah.
It could have been protest organizers, that kind of stuff, right? And they recruited white guys.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was a former Hong Kong national security dude or whatever working on behalf of China recruited a white dude and some Asian dude.
Yeah.
And they got them to become spies.
Yeah.
Try to kidnap these Hong Kongers and get them back to China.
Yes.
Right, so they could be tried.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about this. They pretended to be like some sort of maintenance people.
Yeah.
To get them to come to the door and then kidnap them. It was like egregious. And it sounds scary when you hear it. The evidence tape was released yesterday.
Yes.
Shall we look?
You can finally see how they tried to get their target to come to the door. Yes. So first of all, this is them. They have a snake camera, something to stick under the door to try and spy. See over there?
This is the real footage.
Yeah.
And they're taking evidence, obviously, for the CCP.
Yeah. I'm not very good at using that thing. I use stuff like that when I look into engines.
Yeah.
Oh, they like turn the light off. It's you can see like don't want her to see the lights. So they take
get some water.
Yeah. It's called hydrate.
Why are they doing this?
What they're trying to do is they're trying to convince the flat occupant, the flat's an apartment, the apartment occupant,
The Hong Kong lady.
Yeah, that's in there, that her apartment's being flooded.
In England, by the way. When I say Hong Kong lady, she's from Hong Kong. She's a protester.
But she's in England.
Yes.
They're trying to pretend like her flat is flooding and their maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Their maintenance dude called Dave, who's come there to like help. See?
So it's creepy, isn't it?
Dude, I mean,
those are CCP spies
they were
in England.
filming themselves, obviously, to show their CCP handler the success of their operation. So they were trying to deceive her into thinking that her flat her apartment was flooding, so that they could kidnap her on behalf of the CCP. Disgusting.
In England,
Disgusting.
that wasn't even in Hong Kong.
And the British Prime Minister, that wanker, is like, "Oh, let's have our super embassy."
Yeah,
let's have the Chinese super embassy
or whatever. Like, let's
go
be friends
kowtow
with
to Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
This stuff has been going on in the UK. China's been taking advantage of the UK for the longest time.
Yeah.
And there's something sus going on because there's been nothing but capitulation towards China from the UK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One of the guys that you saw, the white guy, I believe he's not with us anymore.
No, he went to
ground
trial
level.
and then he obviously, in the biggest admission of guilt, took care of himself.
Ground leveled.
That is literally the biggest admission of guilt.
Yeah. Now, this is something I just want to hit on real quick.
Sure.
There was a great article. I wish I remember the name. Hopefully, I think. Oh, yeah, I put it below.
You did?
Below.
Okay.
We've been seeing something that we like to call citation laundering or research fraud.
Yes.
And what China's been doing is they're now claiming themselves as like the biggest patent holder, research holder, the most scientific research in the entire world, published papers and all this kind of stuff.
Such bogus stuff, dude. They patent nonsense.
But the problem is they're doing that and it's entering official Western channels now.
Yes.
So like Western academia. And I just want to read this. In a totalitarian society, a government dominates everything for its continued power. China is such a society. So this guy named Bruce Gilley said, for today's China under Xi Jinping, academics must be loyal stalwarts of the party who advance its goals by means fair and foul. This represents a return to earlier Maoist understandings that were briefly loosened during the 1980s and 90s. Xi's government has issued strict new guidelines that tell China's academics to toe the line. For example, supposedly scholarly papers on environmental policy issues invariably reflect the interests of the Chinese government rather than any objective research. One more slide here.
Oh, we got another slide? Okay.
So he's highlighting the real issue of this. I think it could potentially destroy real world stuff. Right. Given the persuasive rise of scholars, pervasive,
Sure.
Rise of scholars from China and Western academic institution, these norms have now spilled over into Western academic life. Every academic from China, whether based in the West or in China itself, is under pressure to follow these guidelines because of the costs of non-compliance. And the list of subjects they must fake, avoid, or propagandize just keeps growing.
Yes.
I think there's one more thing. It's like a warning.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I think this is kind of like the fishing thing. You let this fester,
Well,
there will be no reality.
They
left.
always use bogus stats. They'll pull out some weird per capita
We've
nonsense
seen this.
or whatever.
They actually do this. They'll publish some academic paper, and then they'll pay for the search engine optimization.
Remember they did that with like how much income people earn.
They said like $44,000 a year or something.
Yeah. Some stupid thing, which is complete bogus.
Yeah.
But it was like some random website, and they obviously paid Google or something to SEO a lot. So when you search, how much is the average income of a Chinese person? It would say some outlandishly high number.
Some equivalent to a Western country.
Yeah, which is
like
stupid.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Remember, 600 million people in China, half the country earn $1,700 a year.
A year, yes.
Further, the bad practices of many Chinese academics, such as paper mills and citation cartels, have spilled over into Western academics. In many social science and humanities fields, academic departments now insist that only a Chinese person can be hired to teach anything on Asia or China. That opens a major breach in academic integrity with respect to all things China. What's more, China's hyper-competitive academic world has created something like academic supermen who are adept at the most performatively over-the-top research articles that read like an academic brain on steroids, even if the findings, whether or not they are based on fake data, amount to saying very little or are often retracted.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation that's only getting worse. So it's like trying to one-up itself because, remember, if you live in a top-down authoritarian government, if the leader goes, hey, now we need to have 10 billion academic articles, you better believe you have to do it now.
Well, think about it. It's just like all the military equipment. They were like, the US could never go near Venezuela or Iran because of our high-tech radar. And everyone believed it. And Western propagandists were putting it out. Western people were like, all these shills were like, like China stuff, the US sucks. They can't even touch it anymore. Going on about this. Where are they now?
I think the chickens are coming to roost in many ways.
Yeah.
Right? But this is one problem. This is one big issue is, let's say you're doing your PhD thesis.
Yeah.
And you come up with a hypothesis, and the only research out there that is actually patented and in academia is from China, and it's all fake.
Yeah.
You better believe that's going to have consequences in real life.
For sure.
Anyway.
Wow. Okay, guys, this has been an interesting show, but now it's Q&A time. So it's Yamcha. This is where we answer your questions, and you question our answers. So, shall we?
We shall.
Okay, it's time to loosen the tie, by the way. If you're not watching this on the weekend or live, we bid you farewell. Stay awesome. But for everyone else, let's get stuck in.
Thank you.